Alright, so quickly I'm going to show you guys what the measurements need to be to do this cutout style, to make yourself a panel when you're replacing the fuel pump. Lifting the bed wasn't an option for me, dropping the tank was not an option for me, so this to me was the best option. This is a 2003 Chevy Silverado, extended cab. I think they call it the shorter bed. Some of the other videos online had some measurements. They didn't look quite right to me. I'm glad I didn't use them because they weren't. I got up under the bottom with a flashlight, took some measurements and kind of figured out where it needed to be, so I can share this with you here quickly. And I'll show you what that is. So anyway, I like this method here where you cut the panel out, but you do it in such a way to where these cross supports here, they're U-channels, can be used to support it when you put your lid back on, and then use some machine screws or something to screw it back into place, and then some RTV or some good silicone to seal it back up. I have a bed cover that goes over it, so no big deal. I'm never going to see it again, hopefully. But anyway, the measurements on this, so my bed is a little bit beat up, so you don't want to go off of there. You want to go off the edge right here of the bottom panels. As you can see, if you go off of that edge, I cut right around 3 inches. So this channel here comes out to about 3 3/4 inches from there. So if you cut anywhere from 3 1/4 down to 2 3/4, you know, this neighborhood here, you're going to be fine as long as you don't, you know, cut into this. That'd be kind of hard to cut across. So right around 3 inches from there will be pretty much perfect on this one. And then if you come back to the next cutout where the other U channel is, I cut about 18 1/2 inches. As you can see, you can still probably go to 18 1/4 and not hit that channel. And then you can go all the way probably to even 19 and still not hit that channel. But about 18 1/2 give you a little bit of room for error, and it won't be a problem at all. And then from the driver's side, you will go just against that panel there. And what's good here is there's really nothing under here for a ways, so you're not going to hit anything. Everything on the gas tank is down quite a bit. You know, you're looking at least 2 1/2 inches clearance to the top of the tank, and then your wiring is about the same. You're never going to touch that because you're all the way on the outside of this. But if you go from the left side, I went to about 13 1/2 inches, and that gave me plenty of room to work around here to redo the wiring, because you have to change the wiring connector. This is a brand new GM pump, and the factory pump now uses a different connector, so you have to change that, but I can talk a little bit about that later. I just wanted to quickly hit the measurements for you guys. So 13 1/2 on the left, and then the right side I went to about 28 3/4, and again, you've got plenty of room. There's nothing under here, so it's really about, if you want it to be more in like this, you know, do it a little shorter. But I think this is a good size because it was really easy to take off the lines and pull the pump out without having to fight. All right, so that's about it for those measurements. And next section, I'm gonna go over some other tips and tricks. All right, so in this section, I'm gonna talk about how I cut this out and how I'm gonna put it back together again. So basically what I used was an angle grinder with a metal cutoff disc, and it made this a snap. It just zipped right through it, no problem. You know, I had some concerns about the sparks around the gas tank, you know, kind of a little bit, makes it a little unnerving when you're doing it. But what I did is I took a hose with a spray nozzle, and I took a clamp and clamped it up under the bottom, where it's spraying up and just dousing the whole area, the gas tank and everything. So there was a lot of water happening under there while I was doing it. And I just took a rag as I was going along after I made my cut. As I was going and moved it around, because some water would start spraying up. I didn't want to get shocked or anything, but it worked out good. It really didn't come up through the holes, but everything on the bottom was soaked really well. And another trick you can do is, you know, depending on the way your grinder rotates, you know, you can either cut this way or cut that way, and you can do it to where the sparks are going to fly up versus flying down into the bottom. So if you do that, you'll get more of your sparks on the upside, and it kind of makes you feel a little bit better. So that's how that was done. And then now you can also see, after you make that cutout, there's going to be some places where there's spot welds. You just need to drill those out, and just use like a step drill, and drill them out one step at a time until you get to the point where you can pop it loose. And then once it pops loose, then you can use those holes to screw it back down again. I'll use a sheet metal, a stainless type screw. I'll just screw in there and it'll stay in place. And then the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna seal it up with some sealant around the edges. And what I like to use is marine grade sealant because they work so good, so much better than just silicone. It'll actually last. So that'd be like a 3M 5200, 3M 4200. I'll put some links down in the bottom for all the different supplies and things I use to do this. Highly recommended on the 3M sealant. It's really the way to go. It just does miracles on boats. And if you're a boat guy like me, then you'll know what I'm talking about. So I think that's it for this. I'll take a sanding block. I'll clean up some of the sharp edges around there, make it a nice panel. I'll screw these things in, and then I'm going to seal it up with the 3M. I'm probably going to use 5200 on this. And then my bed cover goes on top, and then you never see it again, hopefully. So next section will be some electrical and pump tricks. Alrighty, so if you're still with me, this is the last section here, and this is just some tips and tricks, a few ideas I had, a few things might save you a little bit of a headache in the process. So, once I got the panel off, I had to clean this really good. Just use some general all-purpose cleaner. Cleaned it up, scrubbed it until everything was really nice and clean. You could see what's going on. The electrical connections, a lot of these newer pumps, you have to change the connector to the newer style. The old pump has a different connector. So when you do that, they send usually some little wire crimp pieces you can do. Just to connect, you cut the wires, you match up the harness to where it says in the direction. There's like 4 different variants. You find the one that yours is, and then you just match the wires as it shows in the diagram. And then you need to connect those wires. So what I did on mine is I actually stripped and tinned them, and then soldered them, used heat shrink, put heat shrink over the top of it, and then I used electrical tape to seal them. And then after that, I put some of this wire conduit, the plastic wire conduit on here, kind of like they use in the vehicles everywhere else. It just makes it clean, and it's going to keep moisture and water out, and hopefully make those connections last a lot longer. You don't want to be troubleshooting a headache that's inside of a crimp because it comes loose. I just don't trust them. So take the time, do it right, and then it's one less headache for you in the future. But some of the things I did here too is, after I did that, I used some zip ties, zipped them in nice and tight, and then you'll notice that even when you take it off for the first time, this stuff is all loose and just bouncing around. Me being an electrical engineer, I really don't like things bouncing around because eventually things moving are going to cause a bad connection. It's going to cause fractures and stuff like that. So I like things to be kind of to the point where they're not bouncing around if at all possible. So like back here on the back, I connected a few of the zip ties, not tight, but just to where it's put enough tension on here to where this isn't going to bounce around when I'm going down the road. It just made it, I think, a little cleaner, a little more, hopefully, longer lasting. Some other things, when you go to screw this piece back on here, it's going to be really, really tight. So what I had to do there, I noticed that there's, I think a machine does this in the factory. It presses down and it locks it in, and then you got the little locking piece that keeps it from coming loose. When you take this off, you'll see that the metal, there's a lot of burrs, a lot of sharp edges. It's not clean by any stretch of the means. So what I did is on these 1, 2, 3, there's 4 of them, 4 little fingers that you gotta get the lock under. I just removed the burrs with a file so it's more of a clean transition, and then angled the bottom pieces on the bottom plate just a little bit to where it actually would be a clean transition from high to low, because that's what you're doing. As you're going like this, it's moving it down and tightening it, and then it locks in there. So just cleaning it up a little bit. I put a little bit of white lithium grease on the bottom of it, and also around where all the metal contacts are, just to make it easier. And it still wasn't easy, it still took quite a bit of tension pushed down, and then taking a hammer and tapping it to get to go into a position where it would lock. But it was a hell of a lot easier because I tried it at first and it just wasn't going anywhere doing it by myself. Maybe if I had another person to be pushing while I'm hammering in every different direction, but it was just me. So I wanted to make it as easy as possible, and it's still solid, it's not going anywhere. So that was a good tip. Something else I want to mention too is, these pumps, the way they're designed, there's actually a spring inside, and it presses down into the bottom of the tank. So when you go to put this pump in, it's going to look like it's not going to fit. You know, it's going to stand up about ½ inch or so higher than it is when it's all the way in place. And here's the old pump here, and I'll show you. As you can see, there's springs inside there, and that's because when it goes into the tank, it doesn't want it to be bouncing around or moving. So that spring tension will keep it centered in the bottom of the tank, and it won't move. So that's something else to think about. So when you're putting this in, this is going to be higher, and you're actually going to push down a little bit to get this piece, to get the top of the pump assembly to get down level and flush. And then you have to press on this top locking piece and then turn it at the same time. So there's a little bit going on. That was actually the hardest part of this whole job, to be honest with you, putting this back on. You know, I was aware of the spring, so I was able to push that down, but just doing it by myself, all these other little things I did made it a little bit easier. So yeah, and then something else I'd like to do on all my electrical connections is always put a little bit of dielectric grease inside each of the connectors where the pins are. You know, sometimes there's oxidation on the connectors just from sitting on a shelf. You know, I don't know when this pump was made, but this harness was in the box, so it could have been sitting for who knows how many years and getting oxidation on there. So using something like this, you know, it'll help remove some of that oxidation, but more so what it does is it seals and it protects it from future oxidation and kind of keeps a little bit of water out. So I put a little bit in each connector before I install it, and that kind of gives you a little bit of an insurance policy. And normal just plastic wire conduit to do this with. I like to use 1.5 inch electrical tape. You know, that little tiny ½ inch wide stuff just drives me crazy. So I like to use something a little more substantial. I'll put the links to all this stuff down the bottom if you want to give it a shot. And zip ties, there's normal zip ties. And that's really about it. You know, hopefully this helps you out, gives you some ideas, and makes your life a little bit easier. So thanks for watching, and catch you next time. One last thing I wanted to mention, I don't think I mentioned it in the video, but you probably know this already, but I'll say it anyway. You know, before you do any of this work, disconnect the negative terminal from the battery. You know, just make sure everything's de-energized, and it's just gonna be a little safer that way. So that's the first thing I did before I did any of this. And I was done, connected it back up, and rock and roll. All right, thanks. Bye. All right, thanks for watching. Please subscribe.